Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another evening news reflection. This is your girl, Miss Bev, and today I'm just going to talk about two things. I'm going to talk about the freshwater Agro park coming to Clarendon, and I'm also going to talk about World's Women's Day. And so first and foremost, from Jamaica Informational Services, we'll talk about the freshwater Agro park in Clarendon, as spoken by Mr. Floyd Green. He stated that one can go there and rent space, and this freshwater fish is to raise freshwater fish. Don't know how many of us like freshwater fish, and I'm not sure, because when they're farm grown, they tend to have to use antibiotics in the water, and so I don't know. I'm not a fish farmer. I have no expertise in that area, and so I'm just letting you guys know that Jamaica is growing. They're growing. Not to the agro kind of way of life. I don't know, because I buy the lettuce, but the lettuce, they're not crispy. They're just something different about them. So I am not really excited for that. I buy the lettuce and they just go bad, because once I eat them, I'm not. Once you cut, for me personally, you cut them up, and then they just seem to have this. It fades. It's not crispy. It doesn't stay crispy for long. So now they're having this done there, and he said that one can go there and rent your space to raise your freshwater fish. He says everything will be in place. The land preparation, the irrigation, the harvesting, and marketing is in the one single location. So I know that there will be more information coming soon about this freshwater agro park to raise freshwater fish. Then today, March 8th, is considered Women's Day around the world, they say. These days that people are putting aside and calling it, every day should be Women's Day. Every day we need to be encouraging our young people, our young women, to strive for greatness, because they're filled with greatness. We shouldn't be waiting on these one days. And when we talk about, Women's Day, let's look at what it is saying here. If we look back in 1911, 1911 is when there was a huge demonstration, big rallies, and because they were held to advocate for women's rights. Remember, women couldn't vote, they didn't have a say, and so they had to fight for that. And so they want to say, no, it was on March 8th in 1911, and so they're holding that day as Women's Day around the world. So it is set aside to honor the achievements of women. Well, listen to me, women, wherever you are. Don't you ever feel left out because you didn't get a college degree, or you don't have a big business making millions of dollars. You, as a mother, a single mother especially, you have done well, and you celebrate this day as well. You don't worry about the achievements and the highlights and who they put on pedestal, because if it's Women's Day around the world, why do they seek to just honor a few, and they're not honoring those at the low levels who have sacrificed and who have done so well raising families that have been successful? They're always looking for somebody up there to give these awards to. So don't you feel left out? You have done well. you have achieved well. If your children, if you have been a role model for your children, if you have really just step aside, and when you cry privately while you're making sure that your children go forward, and you give them opportunities that you didn't receive for whatever reason. So many of us was raised with grandparents who couldn't afford it. They didn't have the financial support to give to us. But we didn't fall down and give up and cry and woe is me. And we got up out there and we work hard and we put ourselves through schools, and we held jobs and raised families to make it work. And so today I say hats off to all of you who you didn't get noticed by by those who put together this big thing, this big day. You could say we're going to celebrate. No, they didn't come seek you out. They didn't come support. They didn't do one darn thing. But you know you have done well. And so you give yourself a big hug today, and you know that if you look at your children, they're not scammers, they're not murderers, they're not, they're not out there trying to do the wrong things. Then hats off to you. You've gotten them in church, so they go to church, they know who Christ is, and they are serving. A double portion of hats off to you, right? Your children, they can read, they can write. They have done well. Their families they're holding on to. They're not sitting out there settling for less. Hats off to you once more, because it means you've done well. And if you have been in situations where it wasn't healthy for you or your children, and you got up and walk away from it and continue to thrive for greatness, I see you, and God will open doors, more doors for you. So yes, they said this global observation recognizes women in various fields, from politics and education to businesses and the arts. Ew. What category did they put single mothers in? There's no category, right? Politics, education, business, and the arts. But look how much you have done. Look how much you have accomplished. Because raising a family is no joke. Raising a successful family is priceless. So, let's look at some things here, because we know that violence is still something to be reckoned with as we talk about women. But let's look at some situations where women push and push until it gets out of control. A lot of times, because we are so strong-headed and because but we have to also be smart. And I've said it often on this channel. 2 ears, you listen. And they call you out your name, and they do things, and they hide, and they whisper on the phone, and they make deals with the next woman, and they do all of that. And you have 2 ears, you can hear it. You have 2 eyes, you can observe it as well. But you have 1 mouth, and you shut that mouth, and you sit, and you know what's going on, but you shut your mouth. And you build, and you find the right moment to move on with your children and move on with your life. Children will overcome a parent not there. I raised 3 children without their father present. I was having a conversation with my son the other day, I think it was on Wednesday, Ash Wednesday. And it was just, you think kids don't notice, but they do notice. Because when my husband, I was pregnant with my son when he went to Jamaica, he came here to Jamaica, he got another girl pregnant. And then he comes up back to America. Mind you, I just bought his ticket to go home. I took him shopping for him, his mother. He had another son in Jamaica, and I did all of that. But that wasn't enough, because you see, you have some men, no matter what, they'll never be satisfied. They'll never find, it's like a sin for them, because you have to have self-control. And when you're in a marriage, you have to respect that space. So when he went and I found out I was pregnant with little Christopher, like 3 or 4 months pregnant, and he went home, he got that girl pregnant. I found out afterwards, but when he left Jamaica and returned to America, he had the surprise. Because when he came and I said, and then he comes, he says, well, you know, I want my marriage to work. I want this, I said, pack your things and get out. Pack and get out. I wasn't even thinking, like, you have the kids, child care, rent, this, that. I didn't think. I just knew that I respected myself enough to know that no, we're not going to play the games. You want to play the games, then go. I'm not going to be in it with you. And I said, pack and get out. I'm not going to get up and argue with nobody. I'm not going to get up and when you're expecting him to come from work a certain time, he's somewhere, maybe trying to make his phone calls before he comes home, and then he has to come in and win arguments. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. And so those are things I told myself. Granny's husband died, and when I went to Granny, I was 2 years old, and I've never seen Granny remarried. I've never heard Granny in any arguments with anybody. She was peaceful. So because she was so peaceful, she was able to do a lot of good, because she didn't waste energy being angry. So today being Women's Day, I'm just sharing with you that no matter what the situation, sometimes we as women, we like to talk too much. And because we found something out, our friends might say something, and before we just calm ourselves down, they come home and, who you there talk to? Me hear say you're there with John, with Jane Doe, and this and that and what have you. Me? Yes, I'm there with Jane Doe. Yes, that's me here. I want to tell them they're sitting there. I grudge you. I grudge them because yes, them sissy, me and you there, and we are trying to make life them want what you have. And you not stop till you make them con you. And then you go in a bed with them and it feels good again. And I the one, Mary Jane, come tell me, say, I mean, I tell you, say jealous of you. And them know that they're lying. But because you are so gullible, they continue until you know what happened. One day you're going to ask something and they're going to knock you silly. And then the abuse starts because you not stop running your mouth, and them no know when them feel cornered, they don't know to get out of it. All they know to do is to hit. You read the stories of abuse and see how it happens. It's not because they're decent and kind and know they did something wrong and they say I'm sorry and you can accept it and move on. It's because each of you are trying to prove your point and you say man or dirty word and put down and look at them sit down, they're absorbing it and they're learning these behaviors. Just like some of us learn the bad behaviors. The environment we grow up in, it allows us as women to become vulnerable. It allows us to feel like this is the right way to cuss and fight and carry on. You ever hear some women who talk about, what if him not lick me, him not love me? If him not jealous of me, him not love me? What kind of crazy talk is that? Respect is what counts, my people. So as today we celebrate this day and we go about our business and we do, don't forget that respect is the order of the day. Respect on both ends. If you respect me enough, you won't have time to go out there and sleep around with another person. You will always think of what we have worked hard for, the children that we have had together, the home we have built. You will think about that and you will come home. If there are things I don't know, be happy to teach me. And what you don't know, I'm happy to teach you. So there's no reason to run out there. Where are you going out there to start over? The little you have to come home for your children, you take it, you give it to somebody else just for a roll in the hay. And what else? What do you come up with? They walk away with half your salary and laugh at you, and you come home and your children are looking at you for a pencil, and you get angry because you can't give it. And your wife says something, but what, where's your salary? And then you punch her down. And so, let's talk about some of the things. A lot of problems is that power control. We want to control people. Whether the man wants to control the woman, you can't go this, you can't do that, you can't do that. You know, and you, the woman, you want to know every moment where you at, where you at, where you at. It becomes overwhelming. And so it can create that abusive situation. Again, I talk about the environment a lot of people grow up in, where one gender is brainwashing, one culture is saying the men are in charge, men are the head, and you must do. No, you're equal partners. Nobody is a head over anybody. The only head is Christ. The only head is Christ. And so, yeah, some of you will disagree. Talk to me in the comments below. But I feel like you're equals, right? And so, together, with respect, you build. It's not you are the head, so you do what you want to do, and I am down here below you. Nobody's down there below anybody. You work together as a team and you build together. Each one bringing their strong points to the table and build. And where one is weak, the other helps him up or her up, so that together you're building. A lot of learned behaviors, again, I said, from parents, the parents who feel like this is how the mother should behave. Enough people who said, oh, my father, my mother never have one problem yet, because if Papa did something, move that and put this up, and Papa come home and he never done, she not argue with him, she just go, him come and say, from morning you're there, you couldn't, you and she just quietly go and move it and done, no argument. So a lot of times, a lot of things that could have been avoided, we have to puff up ourselves, and again, women go through their monthly situation where hormones are crazy, and it's for a good man to understand. That's why I said, people talk about, me love you, me love you. No, talk about how much you respect, because with respect, you understand. With love, very thin line between love and hate. The same amount that just say me love you is the same amount that you go around the corner and come back and something went wrong, and them tell you all sort of words and maybe knock you down. But with respect, I like respect. Respect one another enough so that less conflicts, less conflicts, less put downs, and more lifting up. Then we talk about financial dependence. A lot of women, we can't satisfy. On the community page, I talk about we must learn to satisfy with what we have. We must learn to hang our baskets where our hands can take it down. A lot of times we look and we see our neighbors with this or that, and we know we can't afford it. We know the little money we husband make is just enough. But we push and we poke because we want what them have. A lot of times the man might have money, where them a juggler, according to what most women that say. Him a juggle. I don't know what I mean. But they look at these things and I remember with somebody, and I'm 64, so I've had a lot. I hear stories, and the girl said, I remember when it was her husband, no, but it was the boyfriend, was in the police force, went up as far as becoming an immigration personnel, and then they were part of a thing where their supervisor was having them look the other way while people would go through with their drugs or what have you. When that happened, the supervisor would have gotten his big money and he would give them 10,000 to share. And that person decided, well, if I'm getting 10,000, if I can give you 10,000, then let me go do my thing. And he left his safe space to go out there and go try, do whatever. And so many unnecessary things happened, and you just look at him. So the girl was saying, oh, that's what me did love him, man. Me did love him because when it comes sometime, 5,000. You talk about 5,000 in the early 90s. That's a lot of money. Come tell me, come check me, and 5,000 he left give me, man. Money there flow then. But then eventually no money now flow because everybody are cracked down on this drugs and stuff, so money now flow. So now she was ready to walk away from her marriage because money wasn't coming in. But a lot of times financial situations allow a lot of abuse to take place, or allow women to stay in abusive situations because the man have 2 shilling, and so them can get them lace wig, and them can get them red bottom shoes, and them can get, so they will sit down and take the backs down and the kick down, and them can't ask no question no matter what them do out there. Them have to just sit down and take it. You have to sit down and take it and get up and move out. But they feel like if they leave, they can maintain the high living. That's what the problem is. If I have to deal with it, because how am I going to maintain? Low self-esteem, a lot of women, you grow up with parents who call you all sorts of names. You're good for nothing, you're low life, you're worthless, you're ugly, they're all sorts of things. And so when you get into relationships, you don't have a powerful self-esteem. And because of that, you just stay sheepish and feel embarrassed, and so you always feel like you deserve the abuse that they dish out to you. But wake up, rise up. Don't you ever ever sit there and settle for less. Don't you? You get up and know that you are powerful, you are important, and you're filled with greatness. And so you believe in yourself. Start believing in yourself, and you pick yourself up. It's better for you to be alone and have peace of mind than you're going through these abusive situations and you are confused and you are overwhelmed and your heart is burdened. Substance abuse. A lot of women, I think it's cool to drink, but when that liquor, wine is a mocker, strong drink is raging, and whosoever is deceived by it is not wise. And when you put yourself into these things and allow the bottle to become your friend, too much of a friend, a lot of times the abuse can be brutal. Because when you drink, your brain cells are not functioning the way they should. A lot of people who drink, they become emboldened. That's what the liquor does. It's raging. So it empowers them, makes them feel like they are invincible. And so they push themselves into a situation where they're going to get hit down, knocked down. They open their mouth and they don't care, they just speak. And when they speak, it's not nicely spoken, and there are people who might not be able to put up with it. Alcohol allows you to feel so important. You might want to grab somebody. Even though they're bigger than you, you're weaker than they are. You feel like you can challenge them and you're going to get knocked down. So that's something I don't encourage. Alcohol is empty. It's waste. It's why you drink it. I don't know, because there's no substance to it other than if you're struggling with something and it helps you to numb it for a moment, but then once it wears off, it's so deal with whatever your struggles are. Put it in God's hands. And no, tell yourself, I'm not the worst of them. I'm not the ugliest of them. I'm not the fattest of them. Look at look at your achievements. I'm educated like the best of them. I have done well like the best of them. I have, why can't you embrace those things and pick yourself up and go? Go. You don't have to compete with anybody. You only have to love yourself enough, respect yourself enough, embrace who you are enough, and go forth. So remember that these are things, some cases, the abuse is never even protected. You get abused, you get threatened. Who supports you? The police ignores it. Police feels like if you didn't get punched in the face or something harsh happened, then no matter how they threaten you, no matter what goes on, they can't do nothing until they take your head off. So people will become emboldened because there are no consequences for their bad behaviors. A lot of times, society is that thing. We want to please society. So we're in relationships and they're ugly, but we still get married to the abuser. And the abuse continue, but you have to, if you're divorced, then them are gonna look upon you and say this and say that. We have to stop it. So what if you get divorced? So what? Some people would rather stay in the abuse just to please society, because society going to say this and society going to say that. Well, every night you go to bed with the heart filled with ache, with a heavy heart, with the put down and the everything. So today, as they say, it's World Women's Day. Guys, I'm just saying to you, love, love, love you. They come up with these things, but who is it for? Who are the people being honored? Today I'm honoring all of you who have worked hard, who have overcome the oppressions, who have become powerful caregivers, who have raised your family and find time to help raise somebody else's family. You have find the time to split what the little you have to help somebody else. I am here today to just say thanks to you, women of power, women of substance. Women's Day is not just today, but just love yourself, respect yourself every single day. Walk away from abusive situations. Don't wait. People show who they are very early. Once you see it, you understand it, you tell yourself, I'm not going to accept that. And leave it early. Don't sit and nurture it until they get attached to you, you get attached to them. Here comes children, and now it's harder to walk away. When you're courting, in those initial stages, you're going to hear how people speak to you. When there's a disagreement, you're going to hear how they deal with it. When you see all these red flags, they're not white flags. They're red. It's danger. It says walk away. I remembered someone big in church, married to a husband who was good person, provided well, but was quite interested. Was, never let go, going through the old age and never let go, just a lot of talk. One evening, as the husband was taking his shower, and he was just talking about life, how things that happen, and blaming her for things that, and she knows it wasn't true. But people go through their crisis. The men get old, they look rusty, they look, women get old and they still are radiating with something. And so the jealousy is there and the blaming, and he's in the shower and he said something and she's out there and she said something back and feel good because he was in the shower. But he hurried up and he finished. He said, wait till I come out there. And all she had to do was to move away. But she stopped because I think, I don't know what she was thinking. But she sat and he walked out the bathroom and knocked her in her face so hard. Knocked her so hard. And again I say to us as women, 2 ears you hear so much. You hear so much. And 2 eyes you see a lot. See this one mouth? Sometimes just shut it. It's one because you shouldn't talk so much. Some of us talk more than we hear. We talk more than we see. And that's bad. But sometimes, just for peace sake, just leave some things alone. Just leave it alone. Don't fight battles you're not going to win. Don't provoke a bull, and when it comes after you're going to call out, help, help, when there's nobody there to help. Just pray to God. Use your mouth to praise, to pray to God, to praise Him, and to thank Him. That's what we should do most. So, as again I said, it's Women's Appreciation Day. I appreciate all of you hard-working women, women of value, women of power, women of good character, women who are givers and just women who are nurturers and encouragers, women